Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Lady Calamere. I am doing my 157th presentation. It will be on the goddess Inanna, and here we come with our main star today, the wrecking ball of all altars and statues, Shadow. Shadow, aren't you a little bit too old to be knocking things down? You're almost 19. Come on, man. So, already, everything was calm until I started this. So, Inanna, who is she? What is she? Let's talk about it. This beautiful card, oracle card, that says seduction on it. Inanna comes from this wonderful deck. Dark Goddess Oracle cards, Barbara Miko John Free and Flavia Kate Peters, designed by Kate Osborne. Oh, I bought tickets just recently to go see Soulfly. They're touring, so I got my August Burns Red and Soulfly tickets. August Burns Red's gonna be playing with Devil Wears Prada, the Devil Wears Prada, and Bleed from Within. So, anyways, let's get to it. Thought you guys wanted to know that. Inanna, she is a Sumerian goddess. She is an Anunnaki, the sky celestial gods. She is the queen of heaven and earth. You know, I had this altar set up nicely, this little presentation table, and this is a new altar cloth, and of course they have to mess everything up. Oh, we got visitors. We have, which one is that? Joker, and then Lady Boss is over there. Oh my god, they're throwing me off already. So, Inanna later on becomes known among the Akkadians and Babylonians as Ishtar. Now, there's debate whether they are the same goddesses or two different goddesses with many similarities. There are similarities and differences between Inanna and Ishtar. In what? What? Already. So, Ishtar is more ferocious, more impetuous. She has more brazen. There's also a little bit more selfishness going on. Now, that's not to put down Ishtar in any way. She is sort of like, she's a very fiery aspect of Inanna. So there are differences, but there's similarities. So Ishtar deserves her own presentation. And yes, I have worked with Ishtar, and yes, she has helped me, so there's no way of putting her down. It's sort of described. Really? Rada Loas from Petro Loas. But the Petro are not the same as the Rada. So it's if you know anything about voodoo. If you don't, then anyways, let's get on it, shall we? I think they're hungry, but I'm not feeding them yet. They're little piggies. They've been eating all day on little snacks here and there. They can wait for their dry food. They have wet food right now. They're just being piggies. So Inanna is the goddess of Venus. She's later on described dealing with lunar and moon. But she is the goddess of Venus. She is the morning star and the evening star. Star in parentheses. So the morning star is dealing with Inanna in her more active role of ferocity, war, violence, destruction, as I'm hearing things going on. And at night, she's more pleasurable, lustful, so, and sexual. I mean, I'm not saying she's not lustful during the day, but it's war and battles during the day and lovemaking and partying at night. Inanna is some people think that she's just this loving goddess, this goddess of light, sugar and spice and everything nice. I remember someone telling me, oh my god, and I don't want to mention names or exactly who she is, but she's like a high priestess of this of a she not gonna mention the tradition, but she told me you shouldn't be working with all these dark deities. I said, really? You should work with Inanna. And I just almost like, I'm trying to show her respect, but I just almost spit my drink in her face laughing so hard. I really had to swallow my drink because she's thinking, oh, she's love and sensuality and beauty. Do you even know who this goddess is? Do you? Oh my god. So, yeah, she is a goddess of love and fertility, but she is a goddess of war. And in fact, the dance of Inanna, the dance, what they called back in the Sumerians called the dance of Inanna, was actually war. The dance of Inanna was war. She is a goddess of the battlefields, war, bloodshed. She's a death bringer. She's a goddess of destruction. She's a great leveler. Okay? That's the dark side of her. She has a vicious dark side. She is a goddess of vengeance, a goddess of retribution. But she's a goddess of power, especially political power. She's a goddess of abundance and wealth, a goddess of fertility, pregnancy, and helping with childbirth. She's a goddess of women and femininity. She's a goddess of lust, sex, and marriage. She is a goddess of justice, a goddess of beauty and luxury and finery. She deals with the goddess of being the goddess of the storehouse of grain, of dealing with food. Let me see what time it is. I might have to feed them soon. She is the goddess of life. She is the goddess of life, including human life. And it was said that she even eventually becomes a personal savior, where people pray to her as a personal savior. She is also attributed to healing. She was prayed to for healings. She's a goddess of passion. She is the queen of heaven and the queen of earth. She is a very complex goddess. And as she rises to power, she either absorbs some of the local deities, or she literally swallows them and takes on their image. Must you? You guys are a hyper lot today. You were calm until I start doing this. Oh no, you were just all sitting down, minding your own business. Loki, don't you start knocking down my Egyptian altar. No. Loki, get away from the lights. I'll be right back. I gotta feed these little critters. Always gotta disrupt my presentations. Never, ever, ever fails. Here, get your way, okay? Never fails. Yeah. Don't take my hand off trying to get the food for me. Here. There. So anyways, I don't have notes or a script, so I'm trying to think where I was up to. Okay. Now there's another thing that people mistake her for, is that she does not spend 6 months of the year in the underworld, and then her husband spends 6 months of the year in the underworld. Yes, she does go into the underworld. Yes, she sends her husband, into her consort husband, into the underworld. However, the goddess that takes the place of Dumuzi, aka Tammuz, is Dumuzi's sister, Gianna, not Inanna. So people like to play, oh, it's 6 months at a time. Inanna is in the underworld for 6 months of the year, and then it's Dumuzi. No. It's Dumuzi, then Gianna. Dumuzi, then Gianna. Then Dumuzi, then Gianna. Okay? Inanna is known to go there once. Not every half of the year. Seriously, Joker, I just fed you. I fed you guys. In some myths, Inanna is also the goddess of thunderstorms and rain. In some stories. Okay? So her parentage depending on the area of Sumer, or the part of that world. Sometimes it was Nana, who is the Sumerian moon god. Yes, the Sumerian moon god, and moon gods do exist. And Ningal. Other stories, she is the daughter of Enki. And other areas of the world, she's the daughter of the sky god An, A-N, On. And the mother, we don't know, I'm not sure. And also Enlil, E-N-L-I-L, the wind god, and an unknown mother. Now, in some stories, she is the sister of Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld. Others, she is the niece of Ereshkigal, depending on the parentage. So sometimes her older sister is Ereshkigal. Inanna was even worshipped as a goddess of rain, dates, meat, and wool. She becomes so powerful and so popular that later the temple of On, or Anu, which was Eanna, Eanna, and Uruk, Uruk, she now becomes that patroness deity of that temple. She takes over Anu and becomes the goddess of the temple of Eanna. Now, some see her, especially as Ereshkigal sees Inanna as a spoiled goddess, a spoiled brat, who when she doesn't get her way, she throws temper tantrums. Because she does at times show her jealousy and her rage. She gets what she wants, or she starts wars, or she goes into a rage. She's known to, in many stories, what bad things happen to her lovers and her consorts. Is that when she's done with them, she's done with them. Gilgamesh knew this. Gilgamesh was approached by the goddess, and he denied her, and he later on felt the lash of her rage. So there is so much to discuss with Inanna, and I'm already 16 minutes, and I feel like I haven't even scraped the surface. Inanna can be very generous, very benevolent, very caring, very loving, to all of a sudden very angry, and she could be very selfish when she wants to be. Sometimes she's described without pity, that she could cast an eye of destruction onto the land and cause it to be destroyed, and anything she casts her eye of anger and vengeance will be destroyed. And I'm not telling this out of personal views. This is shown in stories and her myths from way back when. Okay? From thousands of years ago. This is how she was viewed. Don't shoot the messenger. So, Inanna her stones, if you want to work with her, is definitely, I'm watching you. Lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli. Just trying to think of those. Imperial topaz. Jade. White moonstone. Tiger's eye. Cornelian. There's also a stone called the Flame of Ishtar, which is apophyllite and calcite stalactites. Imperial topaz, which is like a yellow topaz. White moonstone. Moon quartz. Carnelian. Even rubies have been associated with her. Now, another thing about Inanna, she's also a goddess of divination. She can help you with divination. She can help you read the past, present, and future. so she can help you with those oracle and tarot cards. She's a goddess of temptation and flirtation. Really, Joker? What are you doing, Joker? So, oh my God. Her trees that have been associated with her is the willow tree. Willow trees have been associated with her. Now, she is also a goddess of culture and civilization. She rules over marriage and even resurrection. She can be a very demanding goddess, but also very loving and kind. Really, Joker? She has so many epithets. Like, there's just so many. Lady of Victory, Opener of the Womb, the Lady of Battle and Conflict, the Queen of Heaven and Earth, the Queen of Heaven, the Lady of Joy, the one who travels about, Lady of War and Conflict, Inanna with her very gaze can bless or destroy and kill with her very gaze. There are so many stories about her. Absolutely so many stories. And I don't think I can get to them all. Her other tree is a fig tree. So the willow tree and the fig tree, that's what I wanted to get at. Willow and fig tree. Her most sacred site and center of her veneration was the city of Uruk, which Iraq may have derived its name from. And she has a shrine, a temple at Khafajah in Iraq. Khafajah, I believe. Her emblem is the 8-pointed star. The 8-pointed star. And her sacred number is 7. She is always lavishly dressed. The only time she shows here, we see her naked there. But she's usually, that's why when I see that was of actually a Virgin Mary, and I turned it into my first statue for Inanna. I had this little circle goddess with four goddesses: Kali, Isis, Artemis, and Inanna, all together in a circle. But one of my ex landlords destroyed it on me. Freaking asshole. You know what I'm, the one I'm talking about? You can get at Sacred Source. I really like that one. Her tarot card is the Empress card. If you look at the Rider Waite tarot deck, it's pretty much based on her image. Inanna's card is the Empress. But also, she can also be described as, her card can also be the Star, as well as the Priestess. It's always seen very beautiful, very lavishly dressed to the nines and bejeweled. She cares very much about her image. She keeps herself beautiful. She never lets herself go. So other things about her. Her elements is air and earth. She's also the goddess of the sky. Her chakras deals with the heart chakra, the solar plexus chakra, and the sacral chakra. Some would even say the root chakra too, as well. Throw that in. So scents that you can use for her. Definitely rose, like oils and incense, rose, ylang ylang, geranium, patchouli, amber, musk. Use the synthetic or make essential oil, natural essential oils that smell like musk, so that you don't want to hurt an animal. Inanna is a true leader. She could be, like I said, she can be arrogant, selfish, and even greedy, but she's also service centered. She's also confident and courageous, and she can teach us this. She's empowerment. She is loving. But she could be stubborn. She does know how to be very cunning and manipulative. She's very intelligent. There are times she is fickle and arrogant. She, Inanna, can help us be visionaries. She can help us see further than we ever thought we could. She can help us to gain gifts and to share those gifts and those blessings. She can help us connect and collaborate with other people. And she helps us to acknowledge our shadow side, to honor our feelings and respect them. And she can help us to honor others. Inanna takes, but she also definitely gives. Inanna is her animals. Lions. Definitely lions. Hunting dogs. She's said to own 7 of them. She is the goddess of nature, and she says that also snakes deal with. She also deals with snakes and even scorpions. Now, the Bernie relief that has been described as Lilith is actually in a museum, saying that it's Inanna, Ishtar. But some still believe it's Ereshkigal, others use it as Lilith. Let me show you what I mean when I say the Bernie relief. I'll be right back. I did not prepare for this. This is what happens when you don't have a script. I don't like using scripts. When I say the Bernie relief, I mean this. And this is actually in a museum entitled Inanna. Now, this is sold in Sacred Source as Lilith. So we see owls here. And I know definitely Ereshkigal deals with owls and sold as Lilith. The hulupu tree was also said to be a type of willow tree. So the hulupu. Don't think I didn't forget about that. Don't think I forgot about it, because I did not. Let me please put this back so my cats don't destroy it on me. Oh my God, what a day. I'm not feeling so great. I had major oral surgery, so I'm in a lot of pain. I'm having implants put in, so I'm getting 2 implants, and I also have a crown that came out, kind of broke, and so I have a tooth that's exposed that has to be dealt with tomorrow. So I had major oral surgery. I am in a lot of pain, and so that's why I haven't done this in a few days. I wanted to do this much earlier, but I'm dealing with a lot of pain, so please, I forgot to tell you, so please bear with me. I had all the craziness with the cats. Look at my altar. I can't even have a nice presentation. It has to ruin. More cats ruin everything. I love them. And my babies. So we see Inanna also as a personal savior. She was approached by her devotees for help in their everyday daily lives. That she becomes the guide of the land. She's compassionate. She removes pain and helps with sickness. She attacks demons on the behalf of the person who supplicates her. She helps people in the times of sickness and disease. So she is even said in one part of a poem that uh, the whip that had been used cruelly upon the person who calls her, that she turns that whip into a cloth and a bandage. That she purifies people. She gazes upon people and brings joy into their heart and gives them life again. She placed good spirits upon one's head. She places good spirits and gives good spirits to people that pray to her for it. She turns a gracious hand to people. And she also decrees a sweet fate upon people as well. That she helps clears paths for people that ask her. So we see her as a road opener goddess. So you can use her for road opening spells. She has mercy on people. She shows mercy. So despite her, with her lofty titles of queen and of heaven and queen of this and queen of that, this goddess can be petitioned by individual devotees to help them with their specific troubles and times of need, from yesteryear and into today. This goddess can be a personal savior for you. So offerings to this great goddess, so I don't forget. And there's just so much to discuss about her. Dates, figs, bread, wine, honey cakes, beer, incense, cakes, sweetly baked goods. So we think of cupcakes, muffins, even pies, chocolates and candies, moon cakes, perfumes, cosmetics, mirrors, combs, brushes, ointments of beauty, cosmetic ointments and hand creams and lotions and sensual soaps. Fruits. Think of grapes, apples. Really, Loki? Must you tear up everything? Bow, 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 bow. This is his theme song. He's got a little theme jingle. Loki doki, okie dokie, Loki doki, Hidioki. I mean, Loki doki. No. Ugh. I actually have two, my canine tooth in the left and my front tooth out. And I have like an implant in there. So I'm waiting for the tooth to come in. The teeth. So I'm speaking kind of weird. And it hurts. So other offerings, think of maybe dried fruits. One of those nice like bag of nuts and fruits that you can give her. Some fresh water. Flowers and roses. She likes those things. She likes those pretty things. She likes jewelry. And her stones that I mentioned before. Especially, you can never go wrong with any lapis lazuli, whether it's beads or stones or tumbled. Lapis is perhaps one of her favorites. She likes gold, and her metal also is copper as well. But she also likes gold, as well as people associate silver with her. So her colors that have been associated with her is red, lapis lazuli blue, silver, and gold. So her sacred symbols is, like I said, the 8-pointed star, Kohl, Khol, eyeliner, which is a type of eyeliner. So you can get that for her. The planet Venus, the moon is sacred to her. The rosette, as well as roses. The shield, the lapis scepter, regal robes, the lapis necklace, the breastplate called Come Man Come, the shugura, which is a crown. Also a crown of stars is also hers. The gold ring. She also has a rod, a measuring rod made of lapis. She wears a short bead of lapis and then a longer bead. Later on, the me becomes her thing. And the me, which is spelled M-E but pronounced me, was originally Enki's. And this was a thing of supreme power, that with this power she can make beings do willy-nilly things at her very command. She took pity upon the people, and she thought, if I had the me, I can help people, but also herself. So depending on the story, she either goes to her uncle Enki or her father Enki, and she brings wine. She gets him drunk. She tells him fun stories, and she makes him laugh. But he's drunk, and he says, "I'll grant you anything." She said, "I want the man." She says, "It's done." So she takes it, and she flees with it. Enki sobers up and realizes what happened, and that he gave away such great power to his, depending on the region, his niece Inanna or his daughter Inanna, which he sends spirits after her. But with the May, she defeats them. So now she has this great power, which she uses for her own desires, but also to use it to be of help to people. So there's another poem that even speaks of her as the proud queen of the earth gods and the supreme among the heavenly gods, the Anunnaki. Not great, but supreme among the heavenly deities, among the Anunnaki. That she deals with loud thundering storms, and that Inanna, you pour rain over all of the lands and all of the people, in which rain is needed. Rain is for the crops. Rain is, water. Water is life. And that she is said, and I don't have the poem in front of me, and I don't remember word for word, but it is said that she makes the earth and heavens to tremble and quake. And that she, the great priestess, who can soothe a troubled heart, a longing heart, a hurting heart. She is like the flash of lightning all over the highlands. and that she throws her firebrand across the earth, which firebrand, lightning. So she with her powerful and great and loud command, she can make the whistling like the south wind, tear apart and split apart great lofty mountains. I mean, just listen to that type of power that she owns, that she has, that she well, used, that she can make the river banks overflow with the flood waves, good or bad, for helping people or destroying. So Inanna has a very violent nature too, even from ancient times. That she could be very loyal, but also very impetuous. That she can cause great harm as well as good by her own very will. So why did Inanna go to the underworld? There are many. The story is, and there's also a deeper story of that, so a deeper understanding, more of the psychological and the occult. But oh shoot, I wanted to talk about the Halupu tree, but no, we're talking about the underworld now. The queen see, there's some parts that people leave out. That she approaches Gilgamesh and she promises everything. She promises his animals will multiply, his food would multiply, his power would multiply, that he would be greater than before. But Gilgamesh knew what she's done to her other lovers, and he laughs at her and scoffs her and scorns her, and she gets angry. So she demands that Ereshkigal's husband, the bull of heaven, Gulgalana, be set upon the city to destroy everything. People, places, things, she don't care. She's angry. She's going to destroy his kingdom. So, and if she didn't get her way, that Gulgalana be released, that she was going to tear open the underworld and release the dead, and that she was going to cause a whole bunch of destruction. So the gods were like, just give in to her. They set the bull of heaven out, and Gilgamesh, with his one-time rival Enkidu, who they were enemies at first, and then they become great friends, the best of friends. The Enkidu, the wild man of earth, who becomes tame, and then you have Gilgamesh fight the bull of heaven. They kill it. They rip out his heart and offer it to the sun god. They tear it apart. They take the leg, and Inanna saw him being sacrificed, and they literally threw the thigh of the bull right at her and laughed at her. Now Ereshkigal is in mourning. She's preparing mourning rites, and she's upset at her niece in some stories, or her sister, depending, because she had to get her way, and now her husband's dead, the husband whom she loved. Now Inanna opens her ear from the heavens to the earth, and she decides, and there's several reasons. One, to visit her sister. Two, is because the only ones that go to the underworld are those who are dead. So she decides, I'm going to go where no one else dared to go, because that's who I am. I'm Inanna. Some say that she also wanted to take part not only of the rites and give her condolences to her sister, aka aunt Ereshkigal, but however, she shows her unsensitive side, where she dresses up to the nines with all her powers, with all her 7 emblems that make her great power. She dresses up instead of wearing clothes of mourning. She dresses up, and she goes to the shadow side, as if to, thumb their nose up, like, I come to respect you, but I'm better than you, kind of thing. And she goes to the gatekeeper of the underworld, and the gatekeeper Neti goes to his mother and said, yeah, Ereshkigal, guess who's here? So Ereshkigal, when she finds out that this woman who's always been getting, Inanna, who's always been getting what she wants, throws a temper tantrum, that Inanna dares come here when she's mourning her husband, she goes into a rage, bites her lips, starts slapping her thighs, literally throws herself off her throne and pounds on the floor of her kingdom, Kur, Kur, which is called also Irkala. Kigal is also the name of the underworld. She told. Now, Inanna was very prepared, because she told her handmaiden, Ninshabar, that if she didn't come back, that Ninshabar is to get help from the gods, and also to dress in rags, and to tear at her hair, and to go in the mourning, and tell everyone else to go in the mourning. So she goes into the underworld. She's allowed in gate by gate, but she was told to give up a piece of her power, which Inanna, in order to get through to the gates, she has to give up, like, first her crown. And she goes, what is this? And drew the gatekeeper, he says, quiet, Inanna, for the underworld, the ways of the underworld are perfect and are not to be questioned. So in each gate, she has to give up a piece of her power, a piece of her garment. And 2, she meets, through the 7 gates she enters, each gate at a time, and sealed behind her. She is bowed low in front of Ereshkigal. And with Ishtar, is a little bit different. Ishtar comes in swinging at each gate, but she still has to give up a piece of her garment. Either way, she is bowed low before the goddess. And Ereshkigal, in some stories, gets up on the throne. Guess who goes running for the throne to sit over? Because, it's Inanna. She can't help herself. She'll take over. Even though she came over to show respect and courtesy and love to Ereshkigal, she wants to take over the throne. And in some stories, she actually either pulls Ereshkigal off the throne, or she just, quietly sits herself. Some stories, she's just bowed low before Ereshkigal, but a lot of stories are saying that she sits on her throne. And now not only she has the earth, the heavens, now she wants to take over the underworld. That's just her nature. Anyways, regardless of the reasons, the judges of the underworld condemn her. Ereshkigal gives her the eye of death. She dies. She is like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, put on a hook and hung there like a piece of rotten flesh. Now, the earth is without its queen. The man and woman will not lie with each other. The donkeys will not, the horses, all animals will not procreate. Fertility, gone. Ninja Bar does what she's told. She mourns. And her son mourns, and she goes to Anu. Anu doesn't want to help. She goes to Enlil. No one, well, they pretty much said she made her bed and let her pay the consequences. You know, we're done with this. But Enki took mercy, and he creates these creatures, these strange creatures that are genderless. They have no sex organ, and they are shapeshifters, so they can take them, make themselves small. The Kuragura and the Kalatura, and he makes these from the dirt beneath his fingernails. And they discreetly fly. They would turn into little flies and go through each gate, and they go up to Ereshkigal, and they see her crying about how Inanna just wants to have everything, and how Ereshkigal just lost her husband, and how she's mourning, and how these creatures just come up behind her and they start mourning with her. They turn full size now and they're mourning with her, and they're repeating her words, but doing it in comfort. And Ereshkigal looks up, and she's being comforted, and she grants him anything, and they keep insisting on the body of Inanna, and she's trying to sway them, but nope. And they said, of course, Inanna, take her. But she even laid a curse of Inanna, because you came to the underworld, someone must take your place. So she sends demons after Inanna. Now, Inanna's body is revived with of course, these creatures ask for the water of life and the food of life. She's revived. Inanna turns victorious. After her time in the underworld, she becomes even more powerful, that she had this experience with the shadow self. But she has to have someone to find her place, to take her place. So she doesn't go after. So they want her handmaid, and she won't give him because she mourned. She won't give her son because they're mourned. She find people and deities that were mourning until she met her husband. See, her husband was a shepherd. The Muzi was a shepherd whom she fell in love and married. But he wanted to just be more than a consort. He wanted to be the king of the land. He wanted to have the control. And oh boy, did he celebrate. Instead of mourning, he was laughing, letting the beer pour, and having a good old time. So she points the finger of death and the finger of eye, and she tells the demons, take him. And which they do. And he screams and he begs for forgiveness, and she has none. They take him down. He's in the underworld. But it's just Gianna, who has mercy on her brother and goes down to the underworld, where they agree to with Ereshkigal and the underworld that 6 months of the time the Muzi would be on the underworld, and 6 months of the time would be just Gianna, not the Muzi and Inanna. So we see that she meets the shadow self. She goes through the dark night of the soul, almost like an initiation, where sort of even like with the story of Jesus, where he dies for 3 days, but then he rises again, more glorious than before. But here's the kicker. In the poem, at the end of the poem, of that hymn, it's Ereshkigal that is honored at the end, not Inanna. Ereshkigal. Just remember that. So Inanna meets the shadow self and has understanding of the shadow self, and has understanding of things she didn't know about, and is more powerful than before. So she represents one going through existential crisis, maybe a divorce, maybe midlife crisis, maybe going into menopause, maybe losing a career. So she represents those crises within us. But she also represents initiation, even into like initiation, whether in life or into an occult order or to in a coven. She represents, she is becomes an initiate, she becomes the power of initiation. Okay? So it's her approaching the way she approached Ereshkigal is like us approaching sometimes our shadow self, where we want to approach, but sometimes we are pompous. And our shadow side is going to fight back, of course. We have to learn how to have, if we empathize and show empathy, we can get a lot more done with ourselves than just being brazen. Anyways, there's so much depth into that story. I want to talk about the hulupu tree. The hulupu tree was in the very first days and the very first nights in the beginning. There was a willow tree that she saw, that she brought to her garden, that she wanted it to grow so that she could make a throne out of it, a bed, and anything else that she wanted. She really loved this tree, but as it grew and grew, in the roots, a snake that could not be charmed moved into the roots. Lilith moves into the trunk, and the Anzu bird moves into the branches, the tops of the tree. And Nana wept and cried because she could not get them out. So, of course, she cried, and this is early on in her power, she goes to Gilgamesh, in which Gilgamesh, kills the snake, and Lilith smashes her little throne that she had there, her little thing that she had there, and she goes away, and the Anzu bird flies away, and she has her tree, in which then Gilgamesh fashions a drum and drumsticks from it for himself. He makes a throne for her, a bed for her, and whatever else. So the hulupu tree, it sounds like, like that her garden is more like the Garden of Eden. Oh, another symbols of her is the hook reed, sorry, and the snake scepter is also associated with her. Now, in some instances, dragons have been associated with her, as well as dolphins and the dove. So, lions and snakes, even in some scorpions, as I said before. Stargazing is really interesting. Is also a way to connect with Inanna. Is to literally stargaze. So that's a pastime that you can connect with Inanna while you're looking at the stars at night and call upon the goddess to be with you. Dancing and drumming and dancing is another way to connect with Inanna. Even belly dancing, sensual dances with her. Storm magic is really interesting to work with her, as Inanna is again described as the goddess of thunderstorms and rain. That her sacred lion ally has a thunderous roar to it. So when you see like hurricanes, thunderstorms, tornadoes, yeah, that's some of our powers. You can use collecting stormwater and in honor in honor to cleanse your altar and your sacred tools. She loves poetry. In fact, one of the world's, I believe it was one of the world's first author or first known author is Enheduanna, which was her priestess, her high priestess, who wrote so much about Inanna and taught so much about Inanna. And she was a lawyer. Enheduanna, Enheduanna, wrote so much about this goddess and poetry and stories. So when you think of Inanna, think of her priestess Enheduanna. Inanna, other element is definitely fire, along with air and earth, because she has a fiery, hot energy. I should have said this before. I was just being distracted. Like I said, I'm in pain. I'm distracted by cats. So she does work with fire and working with passion, motivation, and revenge. So, but her other elements are definitely air and earth. Fire is probably more of a secondary. Storm, if you want to consider storm an element too, as I do with crystals. So other things about her, I'm just trying to think. I'm just drawing a blank right now. So like her what else? I almost said the word Ninserhag. I'm sorry, that's something different. um Inanna, there's just so much about her. There's so much to learn about this wonderful goddess. And it's interesting that she's important to life. That when she's in the underworld, that life does not go on. That sensuality and sexuality does, and procreation does not happen. Nature is dependent on it. And also, when we look at her going into the underworld, when she is stripped, she's also dealing with the goddess of the grain, right? So as she goes through each gate and she is stripped, it shows that the storehouse of grain is becoming more and more empty. To it's empty. To all the grain, the storehouse is empty. The land has been harvested and is bare. The food has been collected. right? So Inanna is stripped, the food source is stripped. And when she rises again, it shows that life comes back and that everything grows again. That the grain grows back, our food grows back, the land grows again and becomes fertile again. Everything becomes fertile. So it can also represent that aspect. And it was always honored back in Sumeria, where her stories were honored. Also, the love story between Tammuz and Inanna. Later on, Inanna does miss Tammuz, and Dumuzi as his Babylonian name, but she does weep for him, and she is glad to have him back. She is a very sexual goddess. In her poems, that she demands that her vulva be plowed. So the vagina is actually the inner part of the organ. The outer part of the organ of a woman is a vulva. So, just so you know, the labia outside, and she's the goddess of women's sexual organs. There is even a story about her becoming jealous of a mountain, where she becomes jealous of a mountain because it becomes beautiful and she wants to destroy it, and Anu forbids her from doing it. And the sky god Anu says no, but she eventually gets her way and she destroys it. She splits it in half. So we see her jealousy and what she does to the mountain because she's angry. So there's also a story where Inanna comes to this tree in the shepherd's garden, and she lays down, and the shepherd, I'm trying to remember his name, sees her, and instead of seeing her as a blessing, he disrobes her and rapes her. Where she wakes up and she realized she was raped. So she gets angry, and rightfully so, but to get revenge after this rapist, she goes after this whole town just to get him. And anyone and anything in her way is destroyed. So again, we see her violence there. So if you get in her way, when she's on a warpath, your ass is grass and she's a lawnmower. That's it. Oh my God, I keep going on and on. Oh, I forgot to mention that she has a son in Samaria. His name is Shara, Shara, and he's a warrior god. And the god Lulal, Lulal, is a younger brother of Shara, was also thought to be her son. So I don't know how much evidence there is of that, but the god Shara and Lulal was considered her boys. But I don't know how much evidence really purports that, but that's what is taught. That's what I was told. So let's just say Shower and Lulau may or may not be her sons, but is thought to be her sons. Not to confuse you. So when Inanna prefers Tammuz and Dumuzi, depending on Inanna and Ishtar, but when she prefers him, she prefers the farmer and a shepherd over a king. She marries the land. So the shepherd becomes her husband, but he doesn't like become more powerful than she is. Okay, in this aspect we see the goddess as matriarchal and that she has the power. The only time when he becomes greater is when she's gone and he fills in her shoes, at least temporarily. It doesn't last long. So anyways, I've been going on and on and on, and I'm already an hour and 16 minutes into this. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. I really hope you did like this video. I'm not asking for money. I don't have a Patreon account, so the way to pay me is to please subscribe. Hit me up with a like, and let me know what you think of this and what you think of Inanna. Hi, Miss Kitty. Hey, baby. So I try to respond as soon as possible to everyone. Please share my video with everyone else and spread, the word of my channel. So that's the way you can pay me. I do these videos for free, and right now I'm in a lot of pain. So, and I decided, enough time has elapsed and I wanted to get some videos out. So as much as I'm in pain, I had the surgery Tuesday on my mouth, so, and it's already Sunday. So 5 days later, and I'm talking about the goddess. And may she feel my love of doing this to her, for her. So if you want to give your money to me, give it to a charity. I mean, I love money, but I don't have a Patreon account, so, give to animal rescue or think about adopting a cat or 2 or 3. We have 6 here. There goes Joker. There we are. Miss Kitty and Joker are at it. God forbid they don't get any attention. So anyways, if you can't keep your cat or dog, please don't throw it out in the street. Please, please, please try to find a loving home. I saw a cat that was definitely someone's pet out in the street, and I would have loved to have taken it home. I have 6. It broke my freaking heart, and I know that cat was abandoned. That cat was just sitting on the road just looking and pleading. And me and my friend came up to him, and he was so friendly. Oh my God, and he tried to follow us. I was like, no, no, no. And then he was going out on the road, and we had to get him away. And when my car came to pick us up, I told him, I said, be careful of that animal, and I was telling him if you could find a home for him, please. Hopefully that drive said he thinking about going back and get it. If the cat's there, he's going to get it. So hopefully maybe that cat got a home. But if you see a cat or a dog that needs a home and you can't take it, please try to call a shelter. I tried, and try to call a shelter or try to get someone, spread the word to get that animal. Because if that was someone's pet, that's fucked up. That I can't get that that cat's eyes out of my mind when he was just looking like my mommy and daddy will come for me. Kind of look. Maybe this is just temporary. They love me. That was just so heartbreaking. So, anyways, you know, adoption is not always your first option. Sometimes finding an animal, loving cat or dog from the street, and of course, get it checked for worms and everything, and get it, healthy. But you know what? Cats and dogs, bunny rabbits, animals are not a Christmas gift that you can take in and then get rid of after Christmas. I heard of some people, they only like kittens and puppies, and once the animal turns into an adult, they get rid of it. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. I don't care if you don't like my language. You don't do that to an animal. They're not a TV or a sofa. So anyways, thank you so much for watching and listening to me rant about animals, because my heart was broken seeing that. And sometimes I wish I had so much money I can take in animals everywhere. And, oh God. Anyways, enough of me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, blessed be.